Hey there, folks, and welcome. Today, we are happy to present to you a cuisine corner with Hungry Pants. Today, we're going to be making a vegan stuffing, and I could not be more excited because I love working with these folks. They're from Hungry Pants, which is a restaurant in Sodo of Orlando. It's located at 3421 Orange, and it is a fantastic restaurant which has vegetarian and vegan curious foods. Not everything on their menu is 100% vegan, but everything can be. And I would definitely recommend, if you're not a vegan, to try some of their vegan recipes because it is excellent. But without any further ado, I would like to introduce you to Alex and Joey of Hungry Pants. Hey, folks, how you doing?
Hey guys, this is
Hey,
Alex
Alex.
from Hungry Pants, and this is Buddy from Hungry Pants. Joey's on
Oh,
the
that's
camera right now.
oh, I thought that was Joey in your arms right there. Huh. Interesting, but thanks, buddy, for coming in, and thank you all for coming and joining us tonight. We're really happy to have you back.
Yeah, we're so happy to do this. Every time we do one of these segments, it's so much fun. This time, we're actually going to be broadcasting from our house. So come on in, welcome in. We'll head over to the kitchen and get this stuffing started. Follow me.
Excellent. And if anyone has further questions throughout the event, please post those in the chat. I will be checking that throughout, and am happy to ask the folks at Hungry Pants. So thank you for coming, and I will talk to you soon.
Glad you could make it. So the key to any food or any kind of plant-based food is really focusing on flavor from the beginning. I know so many of us in the United States are used to having meat as the center of the plate. That's our other dog, Mojo. This is one of the advantages of working from home, right? Or disadvantages. He's very vocal. Anyway, so we always believe the key to any great meal is really like focusing on kind of more the plant focused. It's a little bit healthier, a little bit cleaner. With our stuffing, it is going to be fully vegan. It's not gluten-free because it's all bread, but that's the best bread from Old Hearth Bakery here, our friends over there. So sourdough, obviously, who can beat sourdough? Oh, and this is my lovely husband, Joey. You guys remember him? You can say
or
hi.
maybe you don't. Hi, guys. I'm also the pet wrangler today.
Yeah.
And
so
every day.
He'll be in and out of the shot probably. So I have everything kind of set here already. And I know that we have already gone ahead and we'll link the stuffing recipe for you. The good thing about this recipe specifically is you can add things in. Stuffing is one of those things during the holiday that is really kind of an all-encompassing dish. I know growing up, we used to eat more meat and a turkey and all that fun stuff. And we used to do it a lot with Italian sausage. And I think Joey, as an Italian, you probably did the Italian sausage as well. Joey and I mixed the sausage, but this is a nice base for you. You can always add some other creative things into the stuffing to really soup it up.
And what's really interesting about a side dish in Thanksgiving, I feel like at least generationally, the sides have become the main event, and the turkey or whatever it is you're eating, tofurkey or fish, has become sort of the sideshow. And I've just noticed through all of our friends and on Friendsgiving, we've noticed that so many people are really leaning into the sides. So really getting creative. So we're going to show you a recipe, but obviously feel free to make it as exciting and interesting as you want.
And I think also with that spirit, one of the things, this will be our second year doing this, is at the restaurant, we're actually offering a Thanksgiving Fixins meal, which feeds 8. It's everything but the turkey or tofurkey, to make this kind of a holiday meal super simple for you, super flavorful. And it just happens to all be vegan. Again, we're not necessarily vegan personally, but we definitely kind of play in that space a lot. So let's get to another helper. Let's get to, everyone's so interested in the cameras. Let's get to the recipe. So first things first, we actually, all of our bread at Hungry Pants is provided by our friends over at Old Hearth. Old Hearth, they have a whole list of vegan baked goods. And we tend to just select bread that's vegan. It's really easy to make vegan bread. You're not going to necessarily get a brioche right, but sourdough is something that is absolutely inherently vegan.
And Old Hearth, just like Alex said, it's a local bakery here in Orlando for those of you tuning in outside of the area. But we try at Hungry Pants. It would be near impossible to run the sort of restaurant we do, featuring all local and seasonal. But when we can, we do feature menu items that are local, seasonal, and organic and sustainable. So again, not 100% of the time, but like everything on our menu, there's flexibility. But the bread is something that we're lucky in Orlando to have a great bakery partner in Old Hearth. And so all of our bread is in fact local.
So before we started, I actually have already, through the magic of television, baked off and prepared some of our veggies for this stuffing. Specifically, the recipe calls for 1 cup of the cherry tomatoes. I like to roast these before I actually put them into the stuffing. I know we're going to go through and roast and bake and cook the stuffing again. However, once you start to bake it, the juices start to come out, right? So like the whole idea of doing a stuffing is having this dry bread, this dry ingredient, and then adding things in that kind of flavor it, and so it kind of soaks it up like a sponge. To me, a lightly roasted tomato, that works best when you kind of go in and you start to combine it all. The other thing is the butternut squash. So I actually have on our recipe, because Joey and I really like butternut squash. It's super sweet. It adds like a diversity of flavor, kind of balances out some of the savoriness of regular stuffing. We put 2 cups of cubed butternut squash. So a lot of times in your holiday meal, we do a wonderful butternut soup. So I just reserve like 2 cups of butternut squash, and then we go through and add that to the stuffing for our main dish, right? So I have that actually cubed and roasted. And like I said, with the magic of television, I'm going to go ahead and pull it out of the oven, just so, not that you've never seen this before, but what I typically do when I'm roasting, though, they definitely have different roasting times, right? So I'll put the butternut squash in early, give that about 20 minutes. I'll go through, add some tomatoes on the same pan. This way I'm only washing 1 pan. I'm all about efficiency when it comes to keeping a clean kitchen and just using the least amount of cooking equipment as I possibly can. It's one of those things in a restaurant that I think when you're cooking at volume, it's definitely something that you appreciate. Just less clean.
Not only at a restaurant, but a lot of our folks at home are going to be making this recipe in their own kitchens. And we all know in Thanksgiving, you have in-laws, you have children, you might have pesky pets. And so you want to keep the kitchen as tight and clean as possible, especially a lot of people that live in smaller spaces like us. We don't have a lot of counter space. So less pans, the better. And so we really only use what we need. So it's a restaurant trick, but it's really for the holidays. Try to go for it at home because it really makes a difference.
So let's go through our ingredient list. You want to go ahead and grab the camera? We'll go through and walk through each item. Obviously, on camera right now, you're going to see the roasted tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes. You could do like a tri-colored tomato with the yellow and orange, or you could get some green tomatoes, chop those up. This, personally, this is what we have, and the rest of it is super sweet. Awesome. The roasted butternut squash. We always use a fresh butternut squash. It's so much better. I mean, you just get so much more flavor.
Can you use another squash if you like acorn or something like that, or is this good with butternut?
I think you want to use something that's a little bit meatier, right? So we use a lot of acorn in the restaurant, and we also use currently right now delicata squash, which is a really short season here in Florida. That's really good, thinly sliced and roasted, but I wouldn't necessarily do like butternut has like a little bit more meat to it. So I personally like butternut squash. You could do a kabocha squash, maybe one of those kind of Japanese pumpkins. Those are really nice too, super sweet, especially when you roast them off. Again, I'm partial to the butternut.
It's okay, we can be partial.
And as we move over to the next thing, obviously for this specific scale of the recipe, a nice fresh red onion, nice and sweet.
Could you use a white onion?
You could use whatever you want, but honestly, a red onion is going to be nice and sweet. So I wouldn't use a white onion. Maybe you use a yellow onion. Maybe if you're in the South,
you know what?
A Vidalia onion.
I'm asking the questions that the people want to know.
Yeah, I don't know. We have some nice fresh parsley here, and our shameless plug, shameless plug, Hungry Pants glassware.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah.
Is that available for sale at the restaurant?
That happens to be available for sale at the restaurant.
Wow. Amazing.
We have dried cranberries here. One of the options, if you make your own fresh cranberry sauce, you could kind of use some of the cranberry sauce from the fresh cranberry sauce in this as well. I like the dried. I kind of always have them on hand. So for us, it's like a really great addition to any recipe. And then, of course, we use this vegetable stock. It's organic. You could make your own vegetable stock. You know, I definitely, my mom, my aunt, my cousins, they all make their own veggie stock. You know, truthfully, we're always cooking, and I don't necessarily, this is like one of those ingredients of convenience that I think is best out of the shelves of Publix or Whole Foods.
Talking about one pot to make your own veggie broth. Lots of pots involved.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have this beautiful sourdough. I already kind of half chopped it for you, just because, I don't know. I mean, how long do you want to sit there watching me chopping bread into cubes? We bring it into the restaurant pre-sliced. It just saves us one little step. So for us, this is going to be a really quick breakdown of the bread. So I obviously have a measuring cup and our knives, and of course the teaspoon ready for measure. So first things first, I'm going to get, so we've roasted our veggies. So that's super simple, right? Beautiful, fresh roasted veggies, already measured out conveniently, right? As if we knew we were going to be doing this.
How much of each veggie?
So it's a cup of the roasted cherry tomatoes. I say 2 cups of the butternut squash, again, because I like it. This is probably about 1.5 cups. I went a little bit shy on it. And we're going to see if I shorted us for this recipe for color. We like color. Both of our moms believe in cooking with color. A plate should look like a rainbow. It just indicates that there's something clean, something fresh, something healthy, super important. So I'm going to have Joey be our bowl guy. So here's our mixing bowl. Thank you. And Joey, you're going to go ahead and just start to knock some of this bread in there.
Okay. All of it?
All of it. We're going to do the whole loaf.
Okay.
Why don't you put the bowl down here?
I'm good at the camera work.
Yeah.
The cooking is something else. Clearly a recipe that everybody in your family can help cook, even though some of us aren't inclined to do so.
You're doing a great job, Joey.
Actually, a little fun fact. We use bowls at home. These are featured from Downton Abbey. They're Mason and Cash bowls from England. So it makes it more fun.
It's just a fun bowl.
It's just a fun bowl. It makes me feel like I live in a mansion.
So when it comes to bread, I know that some of my culinary people I love a serrated knife to cut bread. It just is so much easier. I also use it for tomatoes. It's one of those things. But anyway,
a pain that cuts.
So you want to cube this. I like kind of like our food thing is like to have everything like chunky. You want to see all like the elements of everything. I like to see ingredients. I don't like necessarily when everything gets kind of mashed down or all into one like complete substance, like a homogeneous substance. I like to see all the elements in a dish. So we do about 1-inch cubes on our bread. I'll do the rest of the filling of the bowl. Although you did a good job.
I'm doing the camera work. I'm holding the pets. How much can I do here?
You're very good. Good job. So I believe that everyone probably watching this has all these like wonderful like family recipes during the holidays. I think that like Thanksgiving is one of those holidays that everybody kind of has their own little tricks of the trade. Even if you're not like a chef or you're not a trained culinarian, everyone has like an idea of what they like the most, something that maybe was passed down from generation to generation, the way their mother made something, father, So
grandfather.
Yeah.
Stepmother.
Stepmother. So maybe let this be a recipe that maybe inspires you to get creative. This, like I said, could be a really basic base recipe for stuffing, and then you can go through and add to it if you like.
Well, also growing up, we just had Thanksgiving, but now everyone has 10 Friendsgivings, a work potluck, and the main event. So we need more recipes in our arsenal because life is just that busy nowadays.
Yeah. And what's nice is everybody's kind of gathering again, right? And we all feel safe doing that. And So, this is a great recipe to kind of show off to people, I think. And honestly,
okay to show off.
it's also it's great inside a turkey, right? So you roast a turkey, stuff a turkey. It doesn't have to necessarily have meat. It could be still vegan stuffing inside a turkey. Still soak up all that juices. Of course, maybe your vegans won't eat it, right? But again, a really nice, flavorful stuffing.
So Alex and I are actually pescatarian, and so on Thanksgiving, in addition to the sides, we typically have a nice grilled piece of fish that, if locally caught, we can grab it, and we'll do some fresh ginger over it. It's just really nice. It's nice to have the protein with all the sides.
Be right back. I'm just going to clean off my board.
So yeah, addition to this stuffing here, we typically like to make green beans, cranberry, and mashed potatoes, which is sort of like the 4 staples to any side, but this is definitely our favorite to make.
All right, so the red onion, we're going to go through and chop it. This is pretty standard, but I always start off by taking the top off. I'll cut the onion in half so I have full control of it when I'm cutting. Safety is always something that you want to take into consideration. If you're someone that can't walk and chew gum, don't have a full conversation while you're chopping an onion. The key to onions and chopping them and not having tears when you're cutting into them is make it a quick process.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So the quicker you are, the less crying?
Yeah, the less fumes are going to be able to escape. So when it comes to the onion, I like, to have it have like a really chunky veggie, chunky stuffing. So I try to cut it no smaller than like a half an inch to an inch. And then just cut across. Ooh. So really simple. And I'm definitely like a believer in no waste. So, and I'm not much of a diva when it comes to my knife skills. So I'm okay with not everything being perfectly uniform, unless I'm dicing. Of course, dicing is when you see all of the imperfection. But for something like this, where you have just like a chunky onion inside of stuffing, size is really all that matters. So, all right. So onions chopped down. You want to throw this? He's also a great trash runner.
Excuse you.
So 1 whole onion. If you like onion, obviously throw another one in there. Also, like if you're super into garlic, this would be a great stuffing to throw a bunch of fresh cloves of garlic into and like let them just like slow roast inside. That would be awesome. I don't put garlic in our stuffing at the restaurant. I just find a lot of people have sensitivities to garlic, even though we do have a ton of garlic on our menu. And obviously your aromatics like onion, garlic, those are ginger, even like the lemongrass. All of that is pretty central to like adding flavor to like vegan foods in a natural way rather than over salting. So, but still a lot of people have garlic insensitivities. So, all right. So we're basically going to go through and just add in all of the veg. Really simple. My bowl might actually not be big enough. How's that?
Well, that's a lot of bread.
Yeah. What's funny is I did this at the, I usually do this at the restaurant. And I have like these big bowls and I have these like big pans. So I never even think about the scale.
Now we know how the people at home will feel.
Yeah. And then of course we're going to go through and add our.
Well, we can't dirty another bowl because we just went on our big
soapbox
about doing everything in one pot.
Yeah.
So we're going to make it work.
Yeah, we're going to make it work.
It's so pretty though all together.
Yeah, it is pretty, I think.
The more color, the better.
That's right. All right. And then, so for measurements, we've got a cup. This is already a pre-measured cup of the dry cranberries. We can go ahead and add that in. And parsley, I've actually pre-washed this. Listen, anytime you buy herbs, wash them.
Why?
because herbs, kale, any leafy green, even if they're pre-washed,
Like, is it bugs or is it dirt?
it's both. Well, it should be
The
both,
earth.
right? It's the earth. Even sometimes the hydroponic stuff, like you just want to like wash it, get clean. You'd be amazed about how much like dirt is still on there. So it's definitely worth it. I went ahead and took the time to pre-wash it. For the parsley, you're just going to go through and get some of the leaves cut down. I cut it down to when it becomes mostly stem. Sometimes I go through and just pick out some of the stem real quick. So you get these like big pieces that you just don't want in there. It's not like it kills the dish or anything. It's just so unpleasant. And it's so easy to go through and just pick out what you don't want.
And no one likes a toothpick in their stuffing.
No. And then we're just going to go through, chop it. Nothing crazy.
Well, it probably cooks down a little bit, right?
Well, yeah, it'll start to roast. And it'll definitely start to dry out.
It smells so good.
So, and this is just going to be a matter of personal preference as far as like how much you're going to put in here. I think I usually do one bunch of parsley. What does that equate to? It probably equates to one bunch. I may have written it down. One bunch probably equates to about 2 cups. So this, for example, is one bunch. These are kind of smaller bunches that I have right now. So that's 1 cup, right? So I'll go through and I have a second one to, our cat keeps trying to get in the shot. Everyone's so interested in what we're doing up here.
Yeah, because it involves food.
Yeah, they all know. And I'm actually going to go through and ask Joey to neatly just separate this into 2 different bowls so that we don't make such a mess when we start to mix it all in. So there's a spoon, Joe.
So what am I doing?
Just take about half of this and cut it into the bowl. Neatly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and chop up the second half of the parsley.
Is it okay if the bread is like a few days old?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, the thing is with bread, you can do a stale bread. That's like a crouton, right?
Yeah.
We're going to go through and put some vegetable broth in here, some veggie stock. That's going to help rehydrate it anyway. So, for something like this, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I wouldn't touch any bread that has any sort of mold growing on it, but that's up to you.
No mold. We have high standards.
Yeah. Thank you. That was a great job. All right, we're gonna go through now the parsley. I'm gonna have the parsley here. And we got lots of stuffing to eat tonight.
All right, so we're into 2 bowls.
Yeah, we're into 2 bowls.
Don't judge us.
Yeah.
We tried our best.
All right, so for the veggie broth, we're gonna do about 1 cup. So I think when it comes to cooking, I'm one of those people that probably doesn't really follow a recipe. And my staff hates it, but I kind of just always cook by feel. Of course, owning a restaurant, we have to cook by recipe, right, to standardize it. So each cook or chef or sous chef or culinarian is going to have their own way of like salting, the flavoring. Some people like things a little bit saltier, some people don't. I always say go conservative, add as you go. You can always salt at the end after you've roasted it. There's no shame in that. So you can always add salt, but you can't take it out once it's in there. So on this recipe, I actually wrote that it's about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Truthfully, I pinch and then I cover it that way. And then I'll go through midway through and then I'll try it. I try everything that I cook, even in the restaurant. I'm constantly just like, oh, a piece of broccoli, let me eat it. Oh, the tempeh, is that the tofu when it's marinated? I like to make sure there's like a really strong flavor. I try it. So chicken, I don't even really eat chicken. I'm gonna do it. So, and then one of the things, the keys to cooking too, I think, is you have to salt at every stage. So we had pre-roasted the squash and the tomatoes before we went on air, right? So those did get salted. That was roasted with olive oil and salt, and we roast at 350, and we roast until, so kind of depending on how chunky you do your squash, and then also how ripe the squash is. Sometimes you might need to roast it a little bit longer. Usually it roasts for like 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the squash. But basically, I will always do it to touch. I'll kind of look at the largest piece of the squash in the oven and just press it and make sure that it's kind of the consistency, like you're going to be able to bite into it. It can be deceiving. So, but that was all salted, not ridiculously, but just to make sure that we get the right amount of flavor when we're roasting it. So, and then of course we get some fresh black pepper. Super simple. I love pepper.
I was just about to say Alex loves pepper, so I've grown to love it too because I don't really have a choice because I don't cook. So,
and then the method here is just mixing it up. We've got all of our flavor in here, and get the camera, Joey. Just show them how much color is in here.
Sure.
And I love this.
Yeah,
it's so beautiful. It's very colorful. And then think about this when we're roasting it. Right now, the bread is very white, right? But we're going to start to see, it has all of that crust on it. So there's going to be darker parts of the bread. It's beautiful. The onions start to kind of caramelize and roast off. That gets all different colors. So this beautiful stuffing will get even deeper and darker and more beautiful as we roast it. So super excited to actually get this cooked because I can't wait. I'm so hungry. So our dish, you have a couple different options. And this is actually, well, it's not a debate necessarily, but it's a discussion in our kitchen at the restaurant when we're making the stuffing. I always actually bake it off on a cookie sheet, so like a baking sheet. I do that because I like to see the bread like really get toasted. I like that color. And sometimes when you bake in like a deeper pan, you're going to get that crust on the outside, and the inside is going to be kind of still moist, right? Cooked, but just moist. It's like a wetter stuffing. I like to bake it flat, then put it into a deep pan, and then go through to serve it like that. So you get all that toastiness all throughout incorporated.
I feel like that's a pretty big hack.
What?
To do it on a flat pan.
I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
I think that's a game changer.
That's just the way I do it. I don't know. It's just my own personal preference.
I think it's a game changer.
So, all right. So this is pretty simple though. So here, for our purposes, I'm actually not going to do it on a flat surface. I'm actually going to put it in one of our roast pans. We have like this 3-inch deep roast pan. I'm going to set my oven to anywhere between 350 and 400 works. I told you I'm pretty flexible when it comes to recipes. So your oven,
That's true.
It
depends on the oven.
Yeah. And truthfully, on the actual recipe, I actually have measurements, times, and temperatures all measured out for you and standardized. So I'm actually going to set this oven just because of this oven. I know it well. I have it at 375. I'm going to put it in this deeper dish because I don't have the larger cookie sheets here that I usually like to cook with. But you can see it's just a beautiful, colorful dish.
Oh my God.
And then I'm going to add more. So no shame in when you have a deep dish like this to press it down. And I'm going to get more. Of course, when you're cooking for the holidays, it's really all about mass quantity, right? Because you have all these people coming.
Well, and leftovers.
And leftovers. Yeah, you want it to last.
Let's be honest. The real reason that we're cooking all this food for Thanksgiving is for ourselves for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I think that's what most people would agree on.
And actually, it was probably one of like the most exciting parts of being asked to do this today. Joey and I were like, oh, great.
We'll have stuffing in the house.
Yeah.
It's so funny. People always assume that we eat really well at home, but our refrigerator is pretty depressing. And because, the restaurant has so much good food, but when you leave for the day, the last thing you want to do is cook yourself food. So this is a treat to have some Hungry Pants in the house.
Although I will say when we cook, like twice a week when we cook at home, if we don't have events that we're catering, if we're not staying late night at the restaurant, we do turn out some beautiful meals here.
Yeah. It's a test kit. It's truly a test kitchen.
Yeah, it's fun. I always think it's fun to go back to the restaurant and talk to my people in the kitchen about food, because we all kind of will tag each other on things on Instagram or just, I don't know. We're always looking, right? You're always looking at like what kind of dishes you can create or make, or you see something colorful that's very kind of maybe even on brand for us, and we didn't even think about it, adding it to the menu. So
that's one of the positives of social media nowadays. I feel like with food and creativity, you really can just explore and come up with new ideas just 100%. By surfing social media.
100%. So
it's not all doom scrolling.
So this is the stuffing. So this is what it's going to look like before I put it into the oven. It's going to go into the oven. We're going to bake it. Probably, let's see, what did I put on the recipe? I forgot. Just until I
say 20 minutes.
I did. I put 20 minutes.
See?
So 20 minutes, baked, bring it out. Like I said, I'll kind of like to see like a nice crisp color. The cool thing about this too, stuffing is one of those things, like, so whether you're either putting it in a turkey, you're baking in a dish, on a cookie sheet, whatever your kind of method is, it's one of those things that you can just prepare, put aside, and then start working on all the other dishes for your for your meal. So at this point, I would go ahead and start working on my mashed potatoes. I would have already probably had those boiled. Green beans, gravy. We do a lot of mushrooms. One of my favorite dishes that we don't have at the restaurant, but I grew up eating is the creamed onions. I don't know. They're so good. It's really the only time of year I ever get to eat them. So,
cream onions are a regular menu staple at our house.
But yeah, so that's our sourdough stuffing. So that is listed as like 12 portions, but like, let me just be really clear. When I say portions, if you come to Hungry Pants, you know that we kind of do like large portions. Joey and I are big eaters.
Facts.
So that for a normal person, that could be probably 20 portions. For Joey and I.
Oh my God, you're saying that we eat double of a normal person?
Oh, for the stuffing, yeah. It's my favorite part of the meal.
It's true.
But this will definitely feed your crew at Thanksgiving. So, try it out at home. Let us know what you think. Add some additional items in there. If you're a meat eater, put some Italian sausage in there. It'd be awesome. And let us know how it comes out. And if you don't feel like doing that at home, remember, Hungry Pants for the holiday. We love to help you gather. Matter of fact, earlier this spring, we finished off a private dining space in the back of the restaurant. We can do up to 36 people plated dinners. We do a lot of, appetizer, cocktail hours, meetings, all that fun stuff. So it's definitely kind of entertaining is our thing. Thanksgiving, specifically though, we do have some Thanksgiving fixins. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, and remember, one of the beauties of Hungry Pants is that our menu really serves everybody. So it's designed to be inclusive to all sorts of diets and lifestyles. And that's why, we felt it was important to have that new event space. So when people are throwing office holiday parties or board meetings, they're able to really feed everybody. And even if you're just at home and you're cooking for the holidays, be mindful of your guest list and who is coming that might have an allergy or has a certain dietary restriction. So always do your homework there if you're hosting for the holiday, because there's nothing worse than getting to a Thanksgiving dinner or a holiday feast and realizing you can't eat most of the things on the plate. So, and it's just so easy nowadays, like something like this stuffing, it feeds everybody and you could easily swap out some gluten-free bread and it would still be delicious. So, all things to consider this holiday season, because at Hungry Pants, we really try to feed as many people as possible through a menu inclusivity. And, you should do the same, or at least try to do the same this holiday season for sure.
So I don't have actually a finished stuffing product to bring out of the oven for you. But we're going to pull this out in 20 minutes and scarf it down.
Yeah, trust us.
Yeah. So.
It already sounds really good, actually.
That is
yeah, later on today, you can see us enjoy it.
Yeah, if you want the finished product, a great place to check it out would probably be at Hungry Pants, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, we just added it at the beginning of November, so we have like a full sides menu. If you want that, if you're in that holiday spirit and you're like us and want some mashed potatoes, green beans, and some stuffing, we got it for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I for one, am definitely gonna stop by sometime in the next week because I think I need to try that before I make it. Oh, we already have someone in the chat who's already ordered their holiday sides from Hungry Pants. So.
Oh, nice.
Thanks, Catherine, for ordering those. And yeah, if you do want to see the recipe, it is in the library newsletter this month. So if you get to go to a Orange County library, you can pick that up in physical copy, and you can actually see the recipe written out there. And yeah, if you can't get into the library, we do also have them available. I shared that link in the chat. And yeah, we have another person in the chat asking, when can you show some other recipes? So we're definitely going to have y'all back.
We can take requests.
Yeah, absolutely. If you do have any requests, please let us know. We do read all of the surveys online. So if you do have any requests, please fill out one of those. I'll share that link in the chat and we can bring it back. But Alex and Joe have already come for a couple of events. We made I believe it was a black bean burger, and then the first one was it was like hummus, but it was made of roasted red pepper. Yeah, and it was I made it after that, and it was incredible. Not something I've had before. Like had baba ganoush, have had hummus, but that one was a great little sauce. Speaking
That's
of
not our job.
Yeah, speaking of events from home, my partner just got home, so my dog is quite excited. Yes, Catherine, if you search for Hungry Pants on the OCLS YouTube page, you can definitely see all those events and folks. And if you want to see some of those foods in action, definitely visit Hungry Pants because I know you already have your sides, but some other folks might not, and some other folks might not have tried it before. So it's really close to us down here. And yeah, do you have anything else you'd like to say, Alex, Joey, anything?
Well, first of all, thank you to the Orange County Library. You guys, just to have these things that support local and small businesses is excellent, and we really appreciate the hard work you guys do. We're really lucky here in Orlando to have the library. And folks at home, just remember, if it's not Hungry Pants, just always remember to support a local small business, especially during the holidays. Your dollars really go so much extra when you're supporting a locally owned business.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that is 100% true. We love our local businesses and restaurants here in Orlando. We are really, really lucky to have such a variety across the city. For being a city in the middle of Florida, I think we have quite a bit of like variety and different kinds of cuisines to try out. So,
that's a local talent.
Yeah, absolutely. If you have a place, if it's Hungry Pants, that we would love for you to join us. But if it's, any restaurant that you've seen down the street, check it out. Just stop in. They're not going to turn you away. So we thank you again, Alex, Joey, for sharing us your Thanksgiving recipe, and we'll see you really soon, I hope.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to everyone. Have a great rest of your night.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to be the first to find out when we have new fun and informative videos for you. Orange County Library System is your place to learn, grow, connect.